And this MTEF contains projections for 2013 through to 15.
2015, yes.
About even projected oil revenue and all of those?
Correct, yes. That's what the law says. But what we have, again, from the MTEF and the FSP, based on the findings of the Joint Committee of the House of Reps that worked on this MTEF, what we found is that the document sent to Parliament was just a compendium of government's intention. We want to do this, we want to do that. But the requirement of the FSP, it's a fiscal strategy paper. You're supposed to not tell me your destination. You tell me how you want to get there. That's what we're supposed to debate. That's what we're supposed to agree on. But if you look through the MTEF that was presented to Parliament, apart from the fact that we had a lot of MDAs disowning that document, sometimes wholesale, a lot of them we found were not responsibly involved in the process that threw up the MTEF.
How do you mean?
Therefore, we just have a document that was just prepared for the sake of preparing it.
How were they supposed to be involved in the preparation such that they denied? I mean,
they are the source of the data. For example, the NNPC is supposed to provide the government with the details of the crude oil production output and stuff like that. They're supposed to therefore tell us how much income is generated from that. So if that agency comes to Parliament and says, sorry, the figure in the MTEF is not my figure, where did the figure come from? The DMO comes to Parliament and says, well, the document says GDP, debt to GDP ratio is 17.85. That's what the document you have says. I'm sorry, my figure says 18.5. And DMO is supposed to have supplied that document. You have the customs come to Parliament and say, well, we're just seeing this document for the first time, but let's have a look at it. And we provide copies. These are all recorded, they're on tape.
From what you're saying here now, you're implying that the executive is not together.
They appear not to be together, based on facts, based on our findings from the consideration of the MTEF and the FSP. Because the agencies that were consulted oftentimes would say, I'm just seeing this document for the first time, or sorry, this is not what we presented to the Budget Office.
Okay.
As it stands now, the MTEF still hasn't been passed.
No.
Because the impression we had, I mean, from when the speaker spoke about the $80 per barrel benchmark being what was approved in the MTEF, was that it was already passed.
No, the law says that both houses of Parliament must pass the MTEF.
Has the House passed it?
House has passed a revised MTEF based on the parameters that were enumerated. The Senate has not passed the same version. Both versions must be harmonized. Whatever the Senate passes and the House of Reps must be harmonized. And then we have an MTEF and FSP to work with, the premise for the budget. Now we don't have that situation. So technically, we do not have an MTEF and FSP for 2013-2015. That's the problem.
So it's not possible for the House to proceed with the version that it has passed and work with that for the 2013 budget?
Well, the position of the House is we have passed the MTEF. We have our version of the MTEF. We would work within the parameters that we have agreed to work with. We would work with the Senate to persuade the Senate to see reason why our positions are the way they are and see if the Senate will go along with us on our position. If we succeed in doing that, then we have an MTEF that will carry through into the budget. But besides the MTEF, then is the real issue, the issues that concerns you and I as ordinary Nigerians, the 2012 budget going into 2013 budget.
Okay. Is it the MTEF, the version you say you passed, that formed the basis for the benchmark you put at $80?
Based on our discussions and interactions and research, we've found that $80 a barrel is a reasonable, responsible benchmark
So
for crude oil for the year 2013.
did you also take into consideration the warnings, or so to speak, of the Minister of Finance?
Yes, we did, quite seriously too, I can tell you that. We looked at it seriously. We had contributions from the CBN governor in person. We had contributions from the budget office. We had contributions from the DMO. We took these issues very serious. We were quite meticulous and diligent in arriving at $80. And I can tell you why or how. Why.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Why are we benchmarking at 75? We have a lot of theories. This is the way it's done. This is global best practice. These are the indices. These are the parameters you use. We don't just wake up and just pick a figure. So how did you arrive at 75? We took the moving average. That's what the executive tells us. We took a moving average. Based on the moving average, we fall within a certain band. And we looked at what other countries are doing, and then we've looked at trend. We've forecasted, predicted certain events would or might happen, and therefore we want to
Be safe.
benchmark at 75. What we're saying is Nigeria would probably be selling crude oil at $100 every day for 365 days, and the government is only going to be accounting openly, publicly, transparently for $75. The $25 in the past would have gone into the illegal excess crude oil account. Now it will go into the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which has three components. It has the infrastructure in it. It has the so-called savings in it. But what the parliament is saying is, this is a young child. The young child is sick in hospital. You're saving for his education. You're saving $100 a day to send that child to university in 10, 15 years. This child has an hospital bill of $3,000 right now to stay alive. Would you continue to put away $100 a day for his university education as opposed to put away $75 a day and take 25 out of what you are saving and spend on him right now? That is what the parliament is saying. Yes, we don't have any problem with savings. Save something. But this economy needs to move. We are borrowing and we are saving. It doesn't add up.
There's something I got from your explanation. You talked about the sovereign wealth fund. You also talked about the excess crude account. You're saying
The
now,
illegal one.
yeah, the illegal excess crude
crude,
account,
yes,
because it
there's
hasn't
nothing
been, passed by Parliament. But as it stands presently, you also said that the money, that the excess that will be made now should go to the sovereign wealth fund. Is that what is obtainable?
By law now.
That
Before, it was called excess crude account. Excess crude.
That's correct.
No, because we also remember that the governors of many states did not agree. In fact, through the Nigeria Governors Forum, it took a while to be able to persuade them to start the Sovereign Wealth Fund with $1 billion seed capital. And it was only recently that that money was approved. And it seems that there still exists an excess crude account, which the excess money still goes into, besides the Sovereign Wealth Fund.
That's the tidying up that is being done. What the parliament recognizes, that's the law of the country today, is the Sovereign Wealth Fund. What does the Sovereign Wealth Fund do? The Sovereign Wealth Fund is supposed to receive the excess income, revenue generated from our oil sales, excess over the benchmark. So if we're benchmarking at 80, if we sell at 101, the $21 difference goes into Sovereign Wealth Fund account. That was what was called the excess crude account. Excess.
But has the excess crude account been scrapped?
Well, it's a matter of administration and implementation. The law as we know it now says Sovereign Wealth Fund.
But that account is still running. The
Well,
excess crude
those
account.
are the issues. Those are the issues. We're not in any sort of confrontation with ourselves as a government. We're just trying to make things better. All we're saying is open up the space. Let's be transparent. Let's run this country on the table.